So the first thing that we want to do in Dreamweaver is to set up your site. If you've got your Files panel open, you can go to Manage Sites. And here I've already got my site set up, but you can go to New Site, and then you would type in the name for your site, which would be Chapter for the tutorial. And then you want to make sure you point your local site folder to the folder where you have your files. So I'm going to navigate to my WIP Work in Progress folder on my desktop, and then look for my digital chapter folder. And I have different stages, but you should have all of your HTML pages in there, as well as any images. So I would select that folder and click Save. Since I've already got a folder chosen, I'm going to cancel out of there and go to my site that I've already set up and just import that. And mine is already imported. If you had already set up your site and you just want to import it, what you would do is just select that STE file. So here I've got the atc.ste. So if you open that file, then that's how you would import it. So I'm going to just delete that since I've already done that here. And then I can click Done, and then all my site files will show up in my Files panel. So I'm in the ATC site, and here are all my files. Now let's look at this briefly. All of your HTML files, these are pages, so each HTML file is a page on your website. They should all be in the same folder, so you want them to be on the same level. So right now I only have one HTML page, but if you had multiple ones, you want to keep them all in your ATC or digital chapter folder, and then you can keep all your images in an images folder. So you want to keep the HTML pages on the same level so that you don't have any problems navigating back and forth. So I'm going to now create a new page, and you want to select HTML, and we're working in HTML5 for Dreamweaver. HTML5 is the language, the current HTML version of HTML, and that is the version that Dreamweaver is using. Go ahead and create that page, and go ahead and click on Split View if you're not there already, and you can go to View, and you can switch views, and you can split horizontally or vertically. So mine is split vertically. And when you start a new HTML document, the code is always going to have this doc type HTML code at the first line, and that just tells you that it's an HTML5 document, and that's the Dreamweaver, the language that Dreamweaver is using. And then there's the HTML tags, and then there's the head tags. So notice that if you click on the tag, it'll show you the opening tag and the closing tag. The tag is essentially a container when there's an opening, closing tag, and then there's something that's inside those tags. So here we have an HTML page, so we've got the HTML tag, then we have the heading tag. There's the opening tag and the closing tag. Then within that we have the title tag, and anything in this heading area is not going to be visible on your actual web page. This is just what's in the title tags is going to be visible on the tab in your browser. So let's just take a look at that, and I've got Alan, since his URL is up and ready here. So this is his web page. And then you notice here on his tab it says Untitled Document. It's got the ASU logo because it's on the ASU web host, but it's untitled because he hasn't given it a title. So what you would want to do to get rid of that is you would actually input a title where it says Untitled Document in the code, and then that would give a title, place a title on the tab area. Okay, so it's not on the visible page. What is going to be visible on your page is whatever is in your body tags. And so we're going to add some text in our body tags. And then we're also going to give this page a title. In the document title, if you want to go ahead and highlight Untitled Document, and just type in against the clock special characters. And again, to access that pipe, it's usually above your backslash on your keyboard. So special characters in typography. And then you can hit enter return to finalize that. So now we've got a title here for our tab area. And then you can save this page by going to Save As, and you can save it as typography.html. And make sure you save it in your local root folder. And that concludes stage 1, and we're going to go on to stage 2, working with semantic markup. So in stage 2, we're going to add some local formatting to our web page, and that would include semantic markup such as formatting block quotes or citations, and these are just assigning attributes or properties to our HTML elements. So in the last module, we formatted some basic text using the HTML properties by adding a bold text or italics. But here we're going to use the semantic markup. So instead of bold or italics, we're going to use the code of strong or emphasis. And that will be helpful for screen readers. For those who are visually impaired, a screen reader would read emphasis with a emphasized voice. If they were just reading bold, they would not read that with an emphasized voice. So that's one of the reasons why that is important. Make sure that you're in design view. So you've got the option of code view or design view or split where you can see both. So I always like to keep it on split view. If you click inside when you're in design view on your page document and then go to your files panel, you should see, if you've downloaded your files into that digital chapter folder, a text file called typography. So here we're going to basically open up or paste some text into our document. If we double click on this typography text document, you can see all of the text showing up in code view. Now there is no design view because there is no design that's been added to this text. We can go ahead and then select all, copy, and then we can close that file, then go back to the typography HTML page, and we can paste that text here. Now you can see that there has been no formatting given to this text, and if we take a look at the code, all the text is set within the body tags. So this text would appear on your website once it's uploaded to the server because it's within the body tag. So that is what is visible on the site. And if you take a look within the body tags, you can see that there's a line break tag instead of a paragraph tag. So what we want to do is replace that with paragraphs. Instead of line breaks, we want paragraphs to be added to each section here. We're going to select all this text in the design pane. Okay, I just lost Dreamweaver, crashed on me, so I went ahead and went back and resaved my file as typography 1. And then I've got all my text selected in design view. And now I'm going to go down to my properties panel. If you don't see this panel, go to window and just make sure that you select it to open it. And under format, I'm going to select paragraph. So I'm going to format this entire text to paragraph. And now you can see in code that the paragraph tags are added to the code. So there's the opening paragraph and then the closing paragraph tag down below. So now what I want to do is replace these line breaks with paragraphs. I'm going to replace that code, and I can go to find and replace, and I want to input the opening tag BR and then close, and then I want to replace it with the paragraph opening and close tags. Make sure that your search for text tab is toggled off. So once you've toggled that off, then you can go to replace all. And then you'll see that happen in the code where all the break code has been replaced with the paragraph code. Then if you look down where the properties panel was, there is a search panel and it shows you every instance where that change was made. I'm going to close the Find and Replace panel, and then go to my Properties panel. And if you need to, go ahead and refresh your view. And you can also go to View, Refresh Design View, and you can see the paragraphs now showing up in Design View. Sometimes some of the things that you implement will not show up in Design View, but only in Live View. So you can always toggle back and forth from Design to Live View. Now we want to go to our Common toolbar, and if you don't see that on the left here, this vertical bar, you want to go to Window, Toolbars, and select Common to turn that on. Then you want to place your cursor in the code pane. And once you do that, you'll see some additional options in your Common toolbar, and you want to click on the Format Source Code. Format Source Code, you click on it, then select Apply Source Formatting. And that just kind of cleans up the code that you've made a change in with that Find and Replace, and that just helps align everything and cleans everything up. So that's the source code, Apply Source Formatting. Now we want to give some more formatting to our titles and headings and subheadings. So if you go down in our Properties panel again, you'll see that you've got heading 1 to heading 6. This is important. Each HTML page that you're working with should only have one H1 element. So this H1 element is the most important title element. So you're giving the importance of 1. And so don't be mistaken in thinking that you want to use heading 2 for your title instead of heading 1 because you don't want it to be so large in size. But you want to make sure that you assign heading 1 for your main title because that gives it priority. And so you can only have one H1 heading assigned per page. So we're going to go ahead and click in the first paragraph, Special Characters and Typography, and assign that as heading 1. So remember that was the title of our page. Of course I need to update that too, but that should read the Against the Clock, Special Characters and Typography. And then the next paragraph, and then actually we're going to go to our next kind of heading where it says Quotes and Related Characters, and give that a heading 2 tag. For quotation marks, we want to assign heading 3. So look at the code as you do that. You can see the H3 tag, the H1 tag, and the H2 tag added to the code. So for apostrophes, I'm going to give heading 3, inch and foot marks, heading 3. And then go on for the rest of these subheadings and follow the directions in the book on page 74, and then we'll come back and regroup. Okay, once we've applied all of the formatting to our subheadings, now we're going to apply a block quote and an inline quote formatting. We're going to select this first paragraph quote, and then select the block quote style in the Properties panel. And then you can take a look at the code and you can see the block quote opening and closing tags have been added around this paragraph. So the paragraph tags are still nested within the block quote tag. Then select Ogilvy on Advertising, and we want to give that a citation tag or formatting. And if you go do a control right click, you'll see some menu options and you can select wrap tag. And you could also click in the properties panel, the quick tag editor. And what that does is that allows you to write some tags for your formatting here, to write some shortcuts for the tags. So we're going to type in CIT for site, and then you can see that Dreamweaver is giving me the option to include the site tag. So go ahead and hit enter or return to input that tag, and then return again to finalize it. And then you can see what happens in the code. The citation or site tags have been added before and after Ogilvy on advertising, and now we can see the italic formatting. Now we want to select the text that's in the quotes. God is in the details. So we just want to select the text and not the quote marks. Do a control right click again. And now I want to type in the shortcut Q and hit return for the quotation tag. And now you can see the quote tags added in the code view. Now I'm going to switch to live view, and you can see there are a double set of quote marks given. So that's what I'm saying. What you see in design view is not necessarily what you're going to see in your web browser, so you want to switch back and forth from design to live view to check. And the reason why it's added another quote is because we've already got these quote tags within, because it was added in the text originally when we placed it, and now we've added another set of quote tags. So what we can do is just go ahead and delete. In browsers such as Chrome and Safari, the browser is going to automatically place quote marks around the Q element text. But different browsers, some may show the straight quotes or the curly quotes. Of course, we prefer the curly quotes. But we're going to go ahead and delete that quote tag that we added there. And now you see it already has those quote marks. If we go to live view, now we can see the quotation marks, even though we don't see it in design view, but it's in the code. So that's why it's helpful to know some code so you can see what is in the code is what's going to show in your browser view. Now we're going to mark up some abbreviations. So if we scroll down under the registered trademark and copyright symbol, we'll see this ANSI abbreviation. And then when it's highlighted, you'll also see it highlighted in our code view. We want to click in the code view to select that abbreviation. And then actually put your cursor before the A and type in the tag AB. And now you can see kind of our code hint is giving us the tag of the code ABBR for abbreviation. So we want to go ahead and hit return to accept that. Then you can press the space bar and type in T to give it the title attribute, and go ahead and hit return. And now we have quotation marks. So you want to always input the title in between the quotation marks. So we are going to give the title now for what the abbreviation stands for, and type in American National Standards Institute. And make sure it's within the quotes. So what we're doing here is we're adding a property to the HTML element. So we've got scroll back here, so we have the property, or the attribute values always need to be within the quotation marks, and the attribute just adds the different properties to the HTML elements. We're going to move the cursor to the right of the quote and type in our closing tag. Then we're going to put our cursor to the right of the ANSI text and type in the closing tag here for the abbreviation code. Then when you click on the beginning of the code, the opening tag, it will highlight all of the code, so the entire container with the opening and then in between the opening and the closing tags, except for the actual text that's going to show up, so that ANSI abbreviation. What you can do is go ahead and highlight that entire tag from opening to closing and then copy it, and we can paste it into the next instance where the ANSI abbreviation is used. And then we can switch to live view to see how that will look in the browser view. So if you click or hover over the ANSI abbreviation, you'll see the gray text of the title show up, the American National Standards Institute. Now we want to format using the strong and the M or emphasis elements. So we're still in our typography HTML page, and you can go ahead and save your page so you don't lose your changes. If you see this asterisk, it means that your changes have not been saved. So then you can go ahead and do a Command S or File Save, and then you'll see that asterisk disappear. Open up your Dreamweaver preferences under the Dreamweaver menu, and if you're working on a Windows, it'll be in the Edit menu. And let's just go to the General category. Make sure your Use Strong and M tags are selected. So when it should say Use Strong and M in place of B or bold and italic. So make sure that's checked on. And if it's not, go ahead and select it and apply. And so that's telling Dreamweaver and whichever browser you're using that every time you're using bold or italic, it's going to give it the code of strong or emphasis, and that will be better for our screen readers. Now we want to go to our N dash, and by the way, this is very helpful, different uses of hyphen, N dash, and M dash. So that is very important for document design too, or any kind of design. I talk about it in my document design class, so this would be helpful to read over that as you're designing your websites. So we want to be in the N dash section. I'm going to go back to Design View and select the word not in the last sentence here. And then in my Properties panel, I want to select Bold. Now notice what happens in your code. It applies the tag of strong, even though you selected bold. And that's what we want it to do. Now in the M dash section, select the text More Authority in the last sentence. And now we want to select the italic style in our Properties panel. And then notice in the code view, it gives it the EM or emphasis tag. And then you can go ahead and save your changes. All we need to do in stage 2, and then we're going to go on to stage 3 and 4 and 5.